With the latest update in Copilot in PowerPoint, you can now delegate your full slide deck to AI simply by describing what you want. So it's no longer suggesting the changes, you can actually use it to build your slide deck. And once you're done, you can also use Copilot to edit the changes. In this video, I'll show you exactly how you can use everyday language to describe what you want, as well as the changes, and let Copilot build your PowerPoint presentation step by step. I'll also walk you through the new features that's available in PowerPoint right now as part of the new release. Here I have a brand new template. Now with the latest update, one of the first things you'll notice is that the Copilot button here is now missing in the toolbar. So to activate the Copilot feature, you can either select the icon here on the bottom right hand side, or you can select the new slide with Copilot button here. Now in the master template, you also notice I've got a resource page here with a range of different icons that I'm going to be using as part of the presentation. You can download them in the link in the description below. Now to change the color, all you need to do is select all the icons and change the color to match your brand. Now if you're using branded icons or assets in your presentation, I would recommend you naming them in the metadata. Now to do this, select the icon, right click and select View Alt Text. And here you can add in a short description. So in this example here for this particular icon, I've got Analytics Dashboard. Now this helps Copilot understand what each icon refers to, so it can use that information when creating presentations. Once you've opened up Copilot, you'll see the main chat interface. So on the top here, you'll see the large language model, or the brain behind Copilot, and it's currently set to auto. This just means that Copilot will select the relevant model depending upon the task at hand. Now, if you want to define which model you want to use, you can select from the drop-down box here. So here we have a number of different models, including OpenAI 5.5 or Claude Opus 4.7. Now, if you want to define which model you want to use, you can select it from the drop-down box here. But personally, I tend to default to the auto mode and let Copilot decide. So in the box here, Copilot will allow you to create and edit your presentation using plain English or prompts. If I click on the drop-down box here, you can see that there are two options. The first one being allow editing, and the other one is chat only, which from the description here, allow editing allows Copilot to edit your presentation, and the chat feature will respond to your questions. Now, while there are two separate options here, I find that it's best to stay in the allow editing mode. This just allows Copilot to edit your presentation, and you can also ask questions without switching modes. Before we create the slide deck, I just wanted to point out a few other features. So here we have the plus icon, where you can add context such as existing documents or files as a baseline for your presentation. You can also use the pre-built skill here to review your presentation, and it will provide you with some feedback based on your slides. And in the bottom here, there are a number of pre-existing trigger questions or actions, and you can use this to help build or edit your slides. To create your slide deck, you need to type in the description of what you're after. And as with many of the AI tools, the more information you give it, the better the result. Now, during the creation phase, if there's any areas where Copilot is unsure or needs further information, it will pause and ask clarifying questions. So in the prompt here, I've asked it to create a presentation on strategies for managing change for AI adoption. I've also added here reference in terms of the target audience and expectations around the design and content. I've added here for it to use the icons that's under slide 3, under resources, and for this particular presentation, I've added here additional instructions for Copilot to not include any photos. Now, if you've already got the content available, you can always add it in here by using the plus icon or adding it directly into the prompt box. In this video, I'm going to leave it up to Copilot to do the heavy lifting and create the presentation. Now let's just click on Generate. And here Copilot will start to read through the instructions, and it will start to build and plan out the presentation. Now you notice that I didn't actually include how many slides I wanted, and here Copilot is now prompting me to specify the actual number of slides. So in this example here, I'll just say 10 to 12 slides. So here I want industry specific, so I'll just select on this one here. Now, as my presentation is related to change management, Copilot is now asking which model I want to use. So I'm just going to select this first one here. So the CODA 8-step process. And select confirm. And again, you'll see here it starts to read through the information Utilize the information that I gave it based on the question that it's asked to generate the actual slides. Now this might take a little while, so I would suggest doing other things while the Copilot is working in the background. Now I'm just going to speed this part up and come back to it once it's done. So for the first couple presentation, it's worth watching how Copilot works and the decision it makes as it builds the slide deck, as well as how it corrects itself along the way. Now after a while though, waiting for it to finish can feel a little bit slow and interrupt the flow if you're in the zone to get work done. Now even so, it's still much faster than creating the presentation manually, which could easily take hours. Now let me know in the comments below how long it would normally take you to complete the initial draft of a presentation. Now this presentation is of course a first pass of your slide deck and can easily make changes manually as we've always done, or delegate the editing to Copilot. What you also notice is that Copilot has used the master slide deck layout to create the different slides. Now if you don't already have a master slide deck, I'll create a separate video, so be sure to subscribe to my channel. In the meantime, if you're getting value out of this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if we have a look at some of the slides, it's included some information. It's also added here some icons, as well as excluded photos as we detailed in our prompt. Now it's not always going to be perfect, so you can see here there's some slight misalignment in terms of the text. And personally, in terms of the content itself and how it's displayed, it's probably not the way I would lay out the information. So for this slide here, rather than messing around with the editing manually, I'm going to ask Copilot to make some changes. So just make sure you're in the edit mode. So with the slide selected, here I'm going to ask Copilot to redesign this particular slide so it's more of an infographic slide while keeping the change model intact. I've also specified the design direction as well as layout, and I've specified for it to use the approved branded icons. So let's hit generate. So again here the common theme is every time you hit generate, Copilot will start working through the instructions, thinking about the context of the slide to rebuild that particular slide for you. Now this definitely won't take 20 minutes for it to complete. However, it does take a few minutes for it to regenerate each slide or the changes that you're after. So Copilot has now come back with a different slide design, and it's included the icons that we specified earlier. So if you recall early on in the video, we did name each of the icons, and if we have a look at one of the process under Builder Coalition, here it's selected an icon that's related to this particular process. And again, if we have a look at Form Vision, it's selected this target icon here, which is appropriate for this particular process. So again, just going back to the process earlier, just make sure that you name your icons to make it easier for Copilot to select the right one. And back in the presentation, you can continue to ask Copilot to make any changes. So in the next example, I'm going to ask Copilot to combine these two slides. And I've added here additional instructions in terms of how I want it to look and feel. Now keeping in mind, each time you ask Copilot to make some changes, there is a bit of a start and stop process as it's updating the changes. Now it might be easier depending upon what works best for you in terms of batching your changes. That way Copilot is working in the background. The only thing is just make sure you check there's no additional questions that may need to be answered before completing other tasks. And here Copilot has come back with a revised slide. It's combined the two slides into one. And from here you can continue to make your changes or ask questions. You can also ask it to do other tasks such as conduct market research, or you can use it to provide you with feedback on the presentation. So in the next example, we're going to use the pre-built skill. So here we'll just click on the brain icon and select review this presentation. And our Copilot will start to collect the information based on the presentation, and it will provide us with some detailed feedback. And that's it for this video. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. In the meantime, check out the next video, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks so much for watching.